everyone, welcome to this video. In this video, we will take a look at the consonants of Hindi and Sanskrit. I remember mentioning before that, there are certain rules that dictate the spellings of these two languages. Like, for example, I remember saying that the H's are very common, but one thing is that sometimes these rules might be a bit ambiguous. As we'll see in this video, there are quite a bit of exceptions to some of these rules, and maybe for me it's easy to discern between the rules because I'm a native speaker of these languages, so it might come to me naturally. But if you're not familiar with these two languages, just know that it might take a while to learn when when certain rules are applied. It's not easy with these languages, especially because Sanskrit and Hindi don't have those roots which Greek and Latin do, which those make it really really easy to if you know the meaning of the root, you'll know how the word is spelled. So yeah, Sanskrit and Hindi don't have that, so we'll try to work through these carefully and see how to sort of recognize these patterns for both these languages. Okay? So first of all, I've mentioned that H's are common, and we'll jump right into those with a couple of letters. The first one I'm going to take a look at is the B sound, the sound B, sound made by the letter B. So we have this sound, so it's pronounced B, and this is very common at beginnings of words from both Sanskrit and Hindi, so let's take a look at the rules. First of all, of course, BH is going to be very common for both. So this is where that H rule comes in. So BH, it's a very common blend of two letters that are, very normal for words from Sanskrit and Hindi. So BH for both Hindi and Sanskrit. Okay. At the beginning usually. So if you hear ba at the beginning of words, usually it'll be BH. Of course, not 100%. There are some exceptions, but we can put down that usually at the beginning. That's something to note. So usually at the beginning, especially for words of Sanskrit origin, because if you notice that the definition usually has something to do with religion or spiritual things, or just ethereal things, usually it has BH, because that was a very common thing for words in Sanskrit. Sometimes in the middle though, it's just a B. And this is usually for Hindi words. So sometimes in the middle. So really, this is like really 50-50. Even though BH is common, B is also very possible. So I would probably say it's like a maybe 60% for BH and 40% for B, and you'd have to know what the word is. So sometimes B in the middle. And we'll take a look at some words to help clear this up. This is one of those that's very ambiguous in both Hindi and Sanskrit. So yeah, let's just take a look at a couple words. Maybe that'll help. First one, bahuvrihi. Bahuvrihi. It's from Sanskrit, but this one has a B-A-H-U. V-R-I-H-I. And usually if you look up the word, you'll see something that gives it away. Let's do that right now. Look up the word bahuvrihi. Here's my dictionary. So, B-A-H-U-V-R-I-H-I. So we know this is from Sanskrit. It comes from the root bahu, meaning much. So if you know that, that'll help. If you don't know that, that's okay. But, this is, bahuvrihi. Maybe the BH doesn't make sense there. You kind of have to plug the words in and see. But, if you understand this definition, that bahu means much, vrihi means rice, and you understand that, then you'll remember that this word has just a B, not a BH. Other words, Brahmi, this is just a B, maybe because of the R in front, that's a blend. So BHR, would not be appropriate. B-R-A-H-M-I. We can take a look at this one. Okay, so B-R-A-H-M-I. Okay, so, again, it just says Sanskrit. So, now you can probably know what I mean by how these are ambiguous and kind of difficult. That this word doesn't really give us anything to help us out with that. But yeah, it's something where you have to learn the word in order to spell it. Couple more. Bharati. This one has a BH. Common. Bharati. We have Bhikshu. B-H-I-K-S-H-U. And yeah, in Hindi, there's some that, if just a B, like Dumba, Dumba. I'm just trying to expose you to a lot of words that have this sound, so maybe you can notice patterns um, with this. A good one is Babar. It has both Bhabar. So here you have both of those rules in one. So again, this is a very ambiguous sound. Really, BH might have a little bit of the favor, but B is very common. So you would just have to know the word in order to spell it correctly. And I know sometimes that's really hard, but not every language has rules, or rules that it follows all the time. Otherwise, there would be no surprises in spelling bees. So yeah, this is definitely just to look out for words that have this sound. Okay? Alright, so now something a little less ambiguous, which is the D sound, pronounced duh. So this is D, it's pronounced duh. And yeah, DH is usually used for both, as you'd expect. So DH is usually used for both, just like the previous one. And like I said, this one is a little less ambiguous. Still, D is possible for Hindi usually. So D, just the letter D, is possible for Hindi. If it's from Sanskrit, you can almost be certain it's DH. Okay, so almost certain for Sanskrit. Let me add that here. Almost certain for Sanskrit. And then I'm gonna abbreviate Sanskrit, SKT. But yeah, D is possible for Hindi. So Possssible. It's possible for Hindi. Of course, Hindi also uses DH, but D is a possibility. But DH has the favor here. So DH is pretty good. Occasionally DDH. This is really rare. But yeah, a couple of words would have that, like Buddha. So this is rare. Okay. Some example words we can take a look. First of all, Buddhi. Buddhi. It means intellect. At least what I know in Sanskrit. Like the word Buddha, like I said. Sadhana. Sadhana. So you have DH right there. And Dahi, which means yogurt. Or Dahi. See, they're at the beginning. So again, if it's in the middle of the word, it's almost certain to be DH too. The beginning, if it's from Hindi, yeah, consider the letter D. And this one, DH wouldn't make sense. It doesn't look right. There's too many H's right there. So for this one, it would make sense to use just a D. So yeah, use your speller intuition. That actually pays off a lot. So again, this is also ambiguous. Maybe not as much as the B sound, but DH has the favor, and you'll know these words for sure if you see them. So even if you see a word once, maybe it'll go to your memory, and you'll know which one it is, DH or D, or DDH. Okay, so that's D. And we're not quite done with the H's yet. This next rule is a little bit reversed to what it's kind of the opposite of what we've noticed so far. The sound is the T sound, the T, and the rule here is that just a plain T is more common. So just a plain old T is common for both languages. I'm sorry, my pen is lagging today. I don't know what's up. So it's taking me a while to write some of the words, so just please bear with me. TH sometimes in Sanskrit though. So TH sometimes in Sanskrit. Remember, Sanskrit usually uses those THs because it's more pure. But yeah, this is, again, I guess in Sanskrit it's 50-50. In Hindi, T is very common, most common. So TH sometimes in Sanskrit. And I know it might be hard to remember these rules for both languages, but again, they're very similar. So, once you know words, pretty much a lot of words belong to both languages. So, these rules kind of apply to both. But in Sanskrit, TH is okay. In Hindi, though, it's mostly going to be a T. In Sanskrit, also, it's mostly going to be a T. So let's see. Let's look at some examples. Vanaspati is an example. Vanaspati. See, we have a T there. And a similar word that follows the second rule is vanaprastha, Vanaprastha. Okay, so this one, T might look okay, but here it's TH. So again, this is also kind of ambiguous, but you need to know the words and the rules to figure out what it is. Sometimes the definitions can help you lock that spelling into your brain. Okay? Okay, so that's T. And I think we're moving towards some easier rules, so you can be happy. I think the hard ones are covered. So yeah, let's go to the K sound. Very common sound in Hindi and Sanskrit. The K sound, pronounced K. And this one, let's see, mostly K in Sanskrit. Okay, so this is the pure form of Sanskrit, so mostly it's going to be a K in Sanskrit. We're kind of going to do this one language by language. So mostly a K in Sanskrit. Okay. For Hindi, it's going to be K or KH. And here's a little trick to remember. Always ask for the language of origin, because usually a word won't just be from pure Hindi. It'll either be Hindi from Sanskrit or maybe Hindi from Arabic. And this is where the trick comes in. So Hindi, it can be K or KH. Okay, K or KH. The KH is more common if it comes from Persian or Arabic. That's going to be a little tip-off. Persian or Arabic. Use a lot of KHs. So if it comes from those two languages and then to Hindi, you're almost certain it's going to be KH. If it's just Hindi or maybe Hindi from Sanskrit, it's going to be K. Okay? Also, the C is rare. For Hindi, C is rare. I have a couple examples of words, and we'll take a look at them right away. C is rare. And yeah, those are just the rules for K. So let's just go to examples and recap all of this. So mostly K in Sanskrit, like the word comma, K-A-M-A. That's a bright color. Comma. Hindi, K or KH. KH if more Persian. Let's take a look at some words. One with K is kumkum. I really like this word. K-U-M. K-U-M, very simple. So kumkum. Also, Gymkhana has that KH. Gymkhana. Again, C is rare. Two words I have are halalkor, Hallalcor, and also katani, Cuttanee. Now, both of these words come from Hindi, from like Arabic, so that's why, it's not a K, it's going to be a C, because if you hear the C or you see the C, it's usually from Persian or Arabic. But the thing is, if you look up these words in the dictionary, in the origin, both of these, the C's were spelled with either a K or a KH originally. So this is probably one of those anglicized words that you have to watch out for. But it's rare, so not to worry. So you need to know the words with C's, and if you can learn those, then pretty much everything else is going to be mostly a K, if it's from Sanskrit, or even Hindi, and KH is a possibility if it's from Hindi. So you have to learn the word in that case. Okay? So that's K, and we're almost done here. Those are pretty much the only letters that use the H extensively in Hindi. There are some sounds which you don't even have to worry about the H, and we'll take a look at those right now. So the first one is the letter, or the sound G. Okay, the G sound. If you hear the G sound in Hindi and Sanskrit, you're mostly, or probably only, going to spell it with just the letter G. So no need to worry about GH. There are a couple of words like G-H-E-E, but mostly it's just going to be a G, especially from Hindi. So yeah, this is pretty simple. An example is Rangpur, R-A-N-G-P-U-R. So there, just a G. So that's another one. I'll put another one right here actually on this page. The letter S also. The S sound, we're almost always just going to use an S for the S sound. Okay, so that's pretty simple too. Just the letter S. For the S sound, let's look at some examples. Samosa, there's two of them, S-A-M-O-S-A, samosa, two S's. And my own name, actually, my own name comes from Sanskrit. It's not in the dictionary, so it's not going to be a word in spelling bee, but yeah, my name's Stuti, or actually Stuti is how it's pronounced, but Stuti, Stuti. And yeah, you just use the S for the sa. Okay? So that's the sa sound. So these two are pretty much set in how they're spelled. Okay? One last note is that doubles are rare in Sanskrit. So I'm just going to put this on the bottom here in a different color. Doubles are rare in Sanskrit. So that means double letters like LL or RR. They're rare in Sanskrit because Sanskrit is very pure and usually there's, one letter, one of each. Doubles are rare in Sanskrit, but in Hindi, if the word comes from Arabic or Persian, then there is a possibility. It's possible for Hindi, basically, is what I'm trying to say. It's not totally ruled out for Hindi. So possible for Hindi if from Arabic. So yeah, if you're confused about that, the language of origin can help here. So if it, stems from Arabic or Persian, so I'll just write Arabic. If from Arabic. So that's another thing to keep in mind. And yeah, these are pretty much all the consonants I wanted you to be aware of. Everything else is going to be spelled normally, like the n sound is going to be spelled with an N, the ma sound with an M. Um, let's see, there's pa sound is going to be spelled with a P. So all those are very normal in their spellings. And yeah, this concludes some of those tricky consonants in Sanskrit and Hindi. I realize some of these, are really 50-50, and again, there's no roots and stuff, and as we've seen, some of the dictionary entries, their origins don't really give us a clue as to which one it is. So yeah, these two are languages where you sort of have to know the word in order to spell the word correctly. Again, like I said, for me it might be easier because I speak these languages, but good news is that Sanskrit and Hindi are not very common in spelling bees. Definitely not like the Romance languages. More words are asked from Latin, Greek, French, Spanish, Italian, Portuguese. So yeah, not very common, but definitely great, great languages to know. They've got very special sounds and special spellings, and we will recap all of this in the next video, the final video, where we will revisit our 10 sample words and see if our rules work and use them. So thank you for watching, and see you in the next video. Bye!